Oh, hello everyone. I think that we're all here. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good night for those that are joining us in this conversation. My name is Andres Montenegro, and before start, I will share um, my presentation for a quick framing of this webinar today with Sustainability Awards winners in 2024, Sun Coffee and Root Capital. So give me a second. Trying to get this done. So there you go. So today, um, thank you, Fabricio, Ana Claudia, and Danielle for joining this panel, for your time today. We'll be talking about sustainable business models in specialty coffee. And that sounds like a fancy thing, but actually we want to keep the conversation flowing through where the realities that you are facing as organization, how you are leading sustainable innovations in the specialty coffee sector, and recognizing you as 2024 Sustainability Awards winners. First, and thank you to Trickle Brown, that was our Sustainability Awards sponsor for 2024. And without further ado, well, you know that the SCA is a trade association fostering specialty coffee, trying to create what we call a thriving, equitable, and sustainable activity in the entire value chain. And as we progress toward that goal with our activities and operations globally, um, a couple of years ago, we recognized the need for make that sustainable effort explicit. That's why we create this theory of change. I don't want to dig into those details today because, well, we have already covered that in other pieces that we have published in our 25 magazine and also the SCA News blog. But that's as, as a trade association of the specialty coffee industry, we are focused all our sustainability activities to this broader idea that we could, as a platform, shape mindsets and drive business behaviors that are backed by actionable research and high quality research to move towards that goal of creating a thriving coffee industry. We put that on trying to create an impact on equitable value distribution that we see one of the key, if not the key, challenge that the specialty coffee industry um, faces to create that thriving and equitable future for all. So the sustainability awards for us become somehow a beacon for achieving this vision of the sustainable coffee sector. And related to that, something that we have been doing for the last couple of years was the development of this survey, the Equitable Value Distribution Survey. We developed the first one in 2023 as a way to measure our impact. This survey was sponsored by BWT, Water and More, and Barista Attitude. We will have a new survey coming in 2025 and overlap with that in 2024. In addition to publish this report, we developed World Cafe Dialogues in Latin America, in Mexico, in Latin America, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Africa, and in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia. We were trying to explore the connection between key elements, conversation with smallholder farmers, conversation on the intersection with EBD and gender, and also with baristas and retail actors in producing countries to understand their own and unique and valuable perspective on what value distribution means for them, so we can progress on those dialogues and keep building a narrative that reflects let's say, the complexity of the coffee systems. More dialogues are coming in 2025. We have one scheduled for the expo in Houston. And the new report that we expect to publish by the end of this year will include this material and also a new material on linking the best practices emerging from sustainability awards winners like Root Capital and Sankofi that will show us how to implement those sustainable innovations that we would like to being embraced, but also being scaled across the coffee value system. These efforts are aligned with collaborations that we have, in particular with the Donut Economic Action Lab. We are members of this coalition that is trying to promote, let's say, the economies of the future. We want to keep moving the needle on this idea of moving the business as usual perspective of the coffee sector toward that is linear and divisive towards this perspective, which we regenerate and distribute value and benefits for all the actors in the supply chain. We are committed to that. We want to keep creating that kind of conversation and framing on what makes our industry sustainable, and we truly believe that this is one of the key elements that we want to highlight, and that's why the sustainability awards is starting to get is starting to introduce more elements of this type of design, and in particular 3 key elements: the purpose of business, the networks, and the governance of those business. We will have a conversation today around those 3 topics with my friends of Sankofi and Root Capital. They will share with us how they are innovating and how they are creating business that moves on not only innovation, but best practices associated with what we truly believe are the business of the future. The business that embrace sustainability with new approach that are progressive and that lead us towards that sustainability and sustainable coffee sector that we want to see flourishing. As winners, we want to keep highlighting that these companies from 2024, but also winners from previous years, are beacons because they are showing us how to lead the way in the complexity and the challenging scenarios that we face with market volatility, the climate crisis, and the social challenges that we face, not only in the coffee sector, but in the ag-food system as well. So that's it. That's the framing. We will have this conversation today. We will learn more from them because they are the ones that are taking the bold steps to lead that vision. For those interested, the Sustainability Awards nomination is still open. We will close application this week, this Friday, January 31st. So for those interested, you can still submit your application at the end of this week. If you want to learn how to frame your submission and application in the best way, well, please, you have the winners of 2024 here. Listen from them because they could give you some gold nuggets to shape your application in the most competitive way. So without further ado, let's start with this dialogue. Thank you very much. I will start with, please, if Fabricio and Sankofi, if you want to introduce yourself, give us description of your organization, what you are doing in specialty coffee. That will be great, and we move from there. I have a good question for you, and hopefully for those in the audience, if you are interested in knowing more, please feel free to send your questions through the chat and the Q&A for this presentation. After the introduction of Sankofi, we'll move with the presentation from Daniel and Root Capital, and then we will keep the dialogue evolving depending on how you interact with us. We have some questions to keep the dialogue evolving. But if you want to know more, feel free to send the questions through the Q&A and the chat option. Thank you, Fabricio, and the floor is yours. Let me stop my sharing so we can focus on you.
Hello, Andres, Ana Claudia, and Danielle in the panel today, and to everyone in the audience. Thank you for sparing some time and to come and to share this moment with us. Andres, only what the first thing that I would like to mention is our producers, Sun Coffee. We have won a couple of times quality contests, but when we received the news that we have received the award for sustainability awards from SCA, all of us in Sun Coffee we got even more excited because quality is important, but it's one aspect of our business. But the sustainability awards brings a recognition to our business model as a whole. So truly, we got really honored and excited about it. So thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations for these initiatives, because with them we are able to build up collective initiatives around changing mindsets, thinking about value, and the way that we can drive and promote prosperities in our communities. And it's highly valuable having an entity like SCA promoting and raising this flag. Thank you for that and congratulations. Really quickly, my name is Fabricio. I am also a coffee producer, and I've done only that for my whole life. And I've been leading Sun Coffee now since 2012. Sun Coffee is an independent B Corp certified cooperative. We have 20 producers. We are group of producers, and we are really focused on direct relationships and impact. We were founded back in 2000 with this goal of producing quality coffees consistently, developing direct relationships with buyers in order to bring value and recognition to our community. And we've been doing that since then. And I would like to take the opportunity to thanks and to express gratitude to our customers that nowadays they are in 31 countries and they've been making all of these possible, supporting Sun Coffee and our initiatives. Now, for Ana Claudia. Ana Claudia will introduce herself, and trust me, she's key on Sun Coffee receiving this sustainability awards.
Indeed, indeed.
I'll be quickly. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Ana Claudia. I am the head of Impact here in Sun Coffee. So I have been working closely with all our team, with the farmers, to put in practice all those initiatives that we have been working, that have been differentiate ourselves as cooperative, and that led us to the Sustainability Awards. So I'm very happy, and I want to say a quick thing to the people that are here to enjoy this moment, because when we submitted to the Sustainability Awards, we have thousands of questions. So this is a great opportunity to have this moment to understand more about the award and the initiatives that both companies, Sun Coffee and Root Capital, has been working that led us here. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for that quick intro, Fabricio and Ana Claudia. And now I will pass the baton to mi amigo Daniel Rivera from Root Capital. Daniel, if you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit for those that are not aware of what Root Capital is and what Root Capital does. Well, thanks in advance for that clarity.
Thank you, Andres, and thanks to Fabricio and Claudia. I would like to echo the words of Fabricio about SCA and this award. I am Daniel Rivera, Head of Lending for Latin America, based in Lima. I represent to RUCapital. RUCapital is a non-profit organization founded in 1999 that support agricultural business in rural Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia, helping smallholder farmers access global markets. Through our credit plus capacity model, C plus C, RUCapital provides tailored loans, financial training, and innovative solutions to strengthen rural enterprises. Since our inception 25 years ago, we have disbursed around 2 billion in loans to more than 770 business, reaching 2.4 million farming families, while also providing training to 1,800 enterprises. So by combining financing and advisory services, RUCapital drive economic growth, sustainability, and resilience in farming communities around the world. Thank you, Andres.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for that intro. And well, you both mentioned something interesting related to the work that you're doing today. And the first question that I would like to put today on the table, it's related with what we call the purpose. When we talk about sustainability, one of the challenges that we see in the theory says that we need to balance the social, the economics, and the environmental piece. And that's the key. That's clear in theory. In practice, it's more challenging. And I would like to explore something that it's also linked with our EBD survey. When we did the survey, and sorry for this context, but trust me, it matters for this conversation. Something that we found is that a lot of the people that responded, we received more than 400 responses to that survey. And we asked questions about how the coffee sector, the status of sustainability is versus the status of sustainability should be. And we found a gap that were almost of 60 points, in a scale from 0 to 100. People believe that how we are in terms of sustainability was something around 20, and how we should be was almost 60 points above that. So close to 85. So that balance of the purpose, it's challenging when you have day-to-day operations. So I would like to understand more your perspective on how you navigate that complexity of having not only a purpose that is well designed, but also that is well operated to your operations. How is that day-to-day cultural and actual operational impact that you create through the work that you do? If you could help us clarify that and providing insights on how you do that, how you achieve that connection. Let's start with that. I don't know, Fabricio, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Quickly, Andres. First, there needs to be a purpose, like you said, to get people together and work towards this common goal. That should be something really big that people would be feeling excited about. That's the first thing. So that are, in our opinion, here at Coffee, we work with the framework that are two kinds of purposes. One fits into the intrinsic category that we call it. So if we are working and using our business model as a tool to promote prosperity, this is, sorry, I am in the office, so there was a noise here. The intrinsic goal is to impact our stakeholders positively. So the community, the environment, our coworkers, our customers. So these are the intrinsic objectives that we pursue. But some of them are long-term, and usually we can only feel them in the long term. And usually we human beings, we are bad at making good assessments of long-term consequences. Then, in order to keep the group cohesively working together and supporting all the structured business model and the idea and the long-term purpose, we need to bring some short-term incentives. So we need to use our business model not only to promote prosperity, to promote sustainability, but also as an engine for profit, an engine for value addition. So then we can distribute this value and then we keep the wheel turning cohesively and smoothly. And how we translate it into our day-to-day operation. So it's a kind of like any company. We have a strategy, having the ultimate goals uh, around prosperity to these stakeholders, and then we bring it down to our operations. But also, it's important that we keep this culture, this collective personality of our company navigating around this purpose and strategy that we have. And then we need to have right people in place and people that believe that they are promoting prosperity, not producing and selling coffee. That's the first thing that we really take care of. So the strategy, the operations, but also to cultivate a culture, bringing people that really believe that this is in the end, the ultimate goal of any business, which is to impact people positively.
Awesome. Thanks for that description, Fabricio. It's interesting, this idea, something that you mentioned on the short-term incentives and the long-term perspective. It's very nice, and it's something that we see often in sustainability. Having this idea of the carrot and the stick to keep things moving forward, but at the same time having a clear vision of that future that you want to build, that you want to create. And now I will change to Daniel, asking the same question, but probably with some additional context. I was seeing today, I'm from Colombia, and I was following early today the ICO prices for today. If I'm correct, I was checking, we were in the $3 something, in the $3.70 per pound. Which is still in, let's say, nominal in terms of the value, is the highest price that we have ever recorded so far. And I don't know how that is affecting or challenging your activities in the coffee systems, because when we talk about the purpose of Root Capital, we would like to know more about that, but also Fabricio mentioned this need to driving incentives today, thinking in that future. And volatile market, Root Capital has been facing and pivoting across cycles, up and downs. And yeah, right now, I'm pretty sure that you are facing a different challenge compared with 5 years ago. And yeah, we'd love to know more how you are embedding that culture to bring those perspectives in the long-term vision that you want to create, but at the same time dealing with all these challenges that volatile markets puts in your operation. We'd love to know more about that, Daniel.
Thanks, Andres. Well, Root Capital's mission is to grow rural prosperity and build the resilience of farming families around the world. So it is at the core of everything we do. Instead of focusing only on risk, we focus on potential, making sure these businesses get the capital and support they need to grow. So every day, our team works side by side with farmers, organizations, and business owners, offering loans tailored to their needs, hands-on training, and tools to build resilience. We don't just invest money, we invest in people, helping them create jobs, improve incomes, and strengthen their communities. So in the context that you are referring about the coffee prices in this moment, all those elements that I am referring are putting in action to help the communities, to enterprises, to surface, to navigate, and to take the opportunities, because yeah, it's a challenge. it's a threat, but it's an opportunity as well. A good price for the farmers is a good news. How are we going to take this situation to improve the livelihoods, the communities in this moment, and be more prepared, use this to be more prepared to the coming future that we know will be very challenging to the farmers. They are the most vulnerable in the value chain regarding to the climate change. So this is an opportunity to enterprises like us, like Sankofi, to generate, to support the farmers and others in the value chain, to see this as an opportunity to make savings, to make investment needed to the future. And we believe that with the tools that we already have, we have developed in Root Capital for the last 25 years, we have a key role here. No? Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Definitely closer to the users, tailored solutions, and let's say a sound and reliable toolkit seems like good elements to make a value proposition that generates shared benefits for Root Capital, but also for your partners across the coffee supply chain. So that's very compelling. And yeah, couldn't agree more. That definitely was one of the key elements that were highlighted in Root Capital's application last year. Thanks for stressing that again, Daniel. Fabricio, something that you mentioned early in the presentation was long-term relationships. I remember very well when we were evaluating application last year, in particular from Sam Coffee, that high quality long-term relationships emerged at the top. Like, oh, this is very interesting. This perspective of stakeholders at a producers association, but at the same time that you're bringing this direct relationship that are built with a lot of care, with a lot of patience, and that's not a usual way of a business trading in coffee to behave, because we have a market that is predatory, that you want to sell to the best price on one side, to the lowest price on the other. And the way that you shape relationship was quite remarkable for us, because it's a new vision. When you have this way of relationship, something different emerge, and that helps you not only to have better partners, but at the same time to go deep into your purpose and generate benefits that we call, this shared value approach. I would like to know more. How do you manage that high quality and long-term commitment partnership with your producer base, but also with your stakeholders, suppliers, and other trading partners? If you could provide examples throughout the years of how have you achieved that, that would be great, because it's definitely one of the key highlights of the business model that you are proposing and innovating in sustainability.
Great points, Andreas. And the first thing is, I'll go back to the purpose. It needs to be compelling, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be true, because it takes time to build up these network of relationships. Because in the end, we are all human beings doing business with human beings. It's not companies. And human beings, we take time to build up trust. And this is the first thing. It's not from one day to another. We've been doing that for 35 years, like Root Capital. And this is key. We really see it. So that's the first point. But then it comes how we can bring this group working cohesively. Of course, it's possible to do it on the scope of philanthropy, but then it's hard to scale. And then I would go back to business. How can we create a business that is able to be profitable, be value added to everybody? That's the first point. Then bring these people working together, trusting each other. But there needs to be the long term. Why? Because if we are not able to repeat businesses, if we work with a product that is replaceable, we are not able to add the value, because the value is not only added through the quality, like SCA uses the value assessment categories. It's not only the intrinsics, because if it's only the intrinsics, then the real value is not able usually to be added. So we need to be able to bring the extrinsics and also the relational. And it's not possible to convince people, producers and customers alike, that there is value in the extrinsics and also in the relational category if the transactions, the relationships are not repeatable along the way, because it takes time. So that's the key. There needs to be quality, there needs to be extrinsic attributes, but there needs to be time for us to be able to build up trust and work together, overcoming challenges, but also celebrating the good outcomes.
Awesome. Definitely this idea of extrinsic, we also used to mention symbolic attributes that are, we know that are there, but hard to explain because they are information. They are not necessarily in the cup. And as you mentioned, Fabricio, that's something that we are trying to introduce through the new coffee value assessment, trying to progress that understanding that coffee is more than a score and than a number. And that the information, the story behind that coffee matters because it connects us with the hundreds of hands and people behind the scenes, and that help us to build that, let's say, our daily coffee ritual worldwide. Glad that you put this on as a key reference. And Daniel, I want to move on the same idea of networks, but I'm trying to change a little bit the subject because you covered some elements in your previous answer on that. I'm trying to understand a little bit more about, related to networks, how Root Capital is supporting progressive innovations. You mentioned these ideas of partnership, the access to finance, and being the convener of producers and markets. And we would like to know more about how you're driving transformations that contribute to this idea of shared prosperity and that are helping us to shape this better and sustainable future in specialty coffee. You could highlight examples, initiatives in Peru or in Latin America, Africa, that would be great. But feel free. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Andres. Yeah, innovation is at the heart of Root Capital approach to driving transformation in specialty coffee. Through our Create Plus Capacity model, we don't just invest, we don't just innovate internally, we actively support our clients in incubating, developing, and scaling their own ideas. So by combining blended finance with tailored advisory service, we help coffee enterprises implement solutions that foster shared prosperity and sustainability. These include a mix of small grants, agronomy support, digital tools, and target loans for climate investment alongside with working capital. A prominent example of how Root Capital drives progressive innovation is in Network. It's a collaboration with a small growers organization in Colombia. In 2024, we launched a local currency lending initiative, providing financing to 4 organizations with accumulating loan of, in Colombian pesos, is 1,400 millions. This is about approximately $350,000. And this approach protects this organization from exchange rate fluctuations and reduce costs associated with currency conversion, allowing for more efficient financial management tailored to their local needs. So using our credit plus capacity model, we first provide financial advisory service to strengthen the organization management and decision making before offering tailored credit solution. This initiative has already helped more than 1,000 producers that manage 1,500 hectares under sustainable practices. So looking ahead into 2025, we aim to expand this program to 6 organizations, and we have a pipeline around 20 organizations. So by combining advisory and financing, we ensure this business not only access capital, but also have the tool to grow sustainable. So that this is an example of innovation put in practice.
Very interesting. I will follow up on you on that, because something that you mentioned resonate with. We developed a research through Coffee Science Foundation, trying to understand. We did an analysis of the impact of sustainability interventions in the specialty coffee sector worldwide, and one of the key highlights of that research that was led by Professor Rocco Machiavello and Professor Davide Del Prete, that you could find in our 25 magazine, was that the best impact of sustainable interventions in the coffee sector are those that provide, let's say, a compounded intervention, a complex intervention that is not only targeting financial access, but as you mentioned, financial access with education, with market access, and with other best practices to protect farm and coffee production. And you mentioned just that in your own words, in your own experience, but that somehow resonates a lot, because that was the key result emerging from that when you trying to create impact, focus on the complexity of the context that you are intervening. And yeah, looking forward to hear more about that in the future, Daniel, because it makes a lot of sense. Because before jumping to the next round of questions, I would like to tell the audience that if you have doubts, comments, and additional questions that you want to put to Root Capital and Sun Coffee, feel free to use the chat and the Q&A option, so we can put those questions, we can share those questions to our panelists today. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Having said that, something that we are stressing in the new structure is these three elements of the purpose of a business, the networks that they build, and what we call the governance, which is the governance is only how we see power and accountability and how business makes decisions, because that process shapes business priorities, objectives, and clarify how business plans are implemented. I would like to know, Fabricio, you mentioned producers, you mentioned stakeholders, but I would like to know more about how your Sun Coffee managed to reflect or represent the interest of all those are affected by your decisions and your operations. And if you could provide, again, examples of how you are doing that, that would be great.
Awesome, Andreas. I would also like to ask Anna afterwards to complement a little bit about what I'm going to say. I'll bring more into the structure, and she can complement on the practical terms and operation of it, because she is really the interface of these representation and making sure that all of the stakeholders we have, they are heard. So that are first in our board of directors, we try to get a diverse group, women producers that come from different backgrounds. So this is the first point, because it's there where the decisions are mostly made. But then we also have the scope group leaders that we call them. It's not a really good translation from what we call here in Portuguese, but these are the group of stakeholders. There is a leader to be the point of contact of these stakeholders. So then there is Chico from Francisco, from the scope leader for Beyond the Borders, the small producers. Sydney with our co-workers. Hayani with the environment and community. Ana Claudia with the Sankofi producers and the city hall and other players. So there are many of these people. They are the interlocutors of Sankofi with these groups of interest, the stakeholders. And there is always surveys, events, annual performance assessments that we bring together regularly, monthly basis, and also in our annual assessment exercise, how well we have been meeting these group of stakeholders' needs, aspirations. So there are metrics and constant dialogue that we try to implement in order to bring all of them to be heard, but also, even more important, they can feel like they are heard. There's a big difference of being heard and feeling like someone, we are important, that we are heard. And we really try to make sure that they feel like they are being heard.
I like that very
Just
much.
and
Please,
just to
please, Ana Claudia.
complement, I think that's important in everything that we do here in Sankofi, to have the perspective of all our stakeholders, because it doesn't make sense for us as a company to start a program or a project that would make sense only to Sankofi, but it needs to make sense to everybody that is involved. So in this part that we bring this interest to our operation, to the daily routine, we put the relationship, which is a very important aspect. We have a very close relationship with all those stakeholders, and based in everything that we hear from them, that we see in their daily routine, as Fabrizio mentioned, surveys, events, meeting. We have a schedule for the whole year that we try to be as close as possible for from all of them. So we have those interests, and we convey them in the actions that we do in the impact scope and the whole operation in Sankofi.
Awesome. Thanks for that compliment, Ana Claudia, and fully agree. Something that resonates with me is this idea you mentioned in when you were referring to purpose. Trust was one word that you used to frame that purpose, to build trust with your stakeholders. And of course, if you build that trust as a part of the culture of the organization, you can guarantee that you have, let's say, high quality flows of dialogue. And those high quality flows of information and exchange with the people that you serve, somehow provide information that is reliable, that is transparent, and that helps you to make like sound decision that benefits all of the actors that are involved and affected by your operation. That's a brilliant definition of something that technically could be defined as a complex adaptive system. So love to hear about that, Fabrizio. Daniel, trying also to complement these ideas of governance. Root Capital has a challenge in the way that operates, because as a service finance provider, you need to balance governance from this trade-offs perspective, involving market actors, roasters, importers, exporters, but also producers and producer organization. And you also need to balance your decisions between them, but also between ecological, social, and financial goals. Can you explain a little bit more how your decision-making process engage this complexity and how you could bring these transformative ideas that create impact for all those that are informed and affected by your services?
Sure. Well, at Root Capital, we navigate the trade-off between ecological, social, and financial goals through a governance framework that integrate comprehensive due diligence and stakeholder engagement. So our social and environmental due diligence methodology is central to this approach, enabling us to assess potential clients not only on financial metrics, but also on their social and environmental practices. This holistic evaluation ensures that our investment align with our mission to support sustainable and inclusive agricultural development. In our decision-making process, we actively engage with transformative ideas by collaborating with the stakeholders to co-create innovative solutions. We have established a process to channel ideas from our team and clients, allowing us to maintain innovation while balancing financial sustainability and focus on our core activities. This is not a straightforward task, as we must weigh different issues that can be contradictory in nature. But for example, what I have described before in terms of our local lending pilot that we are making in Colombia, that has passed for this framework, no, to generate the idea and understand the needs and then generate the process to make it happen, no, and control expenses, because this is something very critical. Innovate but maintain the core. That balance is an interesting challenge to every organization, no?
Agree. Thanks for that. Yeah, something that you mentioned reminds me of last year during Expo. There was a meeting where I met colleagues from the impact assessment team, and they were sharing a brilliant dashboard on the impact and the impact framework that Root Capital uses to keep informing their efforts to make decision making, and also to understand how you are, let's say, targeting your activities globally. And something that was for me a highlight of that process and that presentation that aligns with what you mentioned is the gender impact tracking of all your operations. And that was remarkable. Not only the numbers per se, but how you were so smart in putting in simple terms a complexity that you face, because you need to adapt all your metrics to very different contexts in Africa, even in Latin America. When you mentioned Colombia, I know that Colombia, we have coffee region within Colombia. The south is very different from the center and the north of the country, and you need to manage to achieve that and to lead that decision-making process that is sound, but also balancing those different contexts and needs of different actors, which is great. Thanks for that. I'm not seeing additional questions in the Q&A, so I will use this last few minutes to ask complementary questions for you guys. And let's say that we are thinking on, when we talk about sustainability, we're also thinking on the future, but you're building that future today. I would like to know your perspective, let's say the next 5 years, the short term, or the next 25 years, mid to long term. What do you think will change the most and why in the specialty coffee sector? And what could be your company or your organization role in this, let's say, evolution of the coffee sector? And Fabricio, Daniel, this is an open question to both of you. So feel free to jump.
That's a good point. There are many opportunities in coffee. We are seeing a thriving industry despite many challenges, like any other industry in the world. But the consumption is growing. There are innovations, and there are many things going the right way. And but of course, there are the challenges. And the most important challenges that we are seeing, not only for producers, it's kind of across the all the segments in the supply chain, is first climate change, weather volatility. I don't know how people would like to name it, but the thing is that we are noticing all the time the effects of uh, unstable weather conditions. Then we are seeing like spikes in the coffee market. We are seeing many things. We are seeing droughts, frosts, hail rains, and many things. And then we, as a company, as Sun Coffee, we have really targeted and flagged these as uh, highly important priority for our strategies for the future. And these will be permeating all our strategies, tactics, and operations. Because if we are not able to overcome and to address at least this challenge, all other initiatives to add value, to promote sustainability, to promote prosperity will be useless because in the end, we will not be able to produce coffee or to consume coffee. I mean, into the extreme. And
Yep.
eventually it doesn't happen, but who knows? But there are many evidences that it's something that we are going through now. And the second thing is labor. Uh, how can we handle that? How can we make our industry, our segment, our company more attractive to a young generation? How can we make coffee cool and then people feel like, oh, I really want to have my kids studying, I don't know what, or doing this kind of course to go and work in coffee. I would be, as a parent, highly proud of my kid or my kid. That's the another highly important priority in our strategy as Sun Coffee, as a collective of producers. How can we make coffee attractive for the young talents, young people to come and to join us? Because people can say, hey, in Brazil, you guys can mechanize and it's a little bit easier. No, it's we need people to lead. We need people to operate machines. We need people to do quality control. We need people to do a full array of roles, even though we mechanize, we are not able to do without people. And if we were able to do without people, then it would be boring. And I don't know if we would be achieving the goal, which is to be attracted to people. But I mean, that's a little bit of a joke, but weather volatility and attractiveness to young generation of talents. These are two things that are really important for coffee industry and Sun Coffee. We really want to do our fair share in order to turn the situation around and being able to keep our business model promoting prosperity alongside our customers for the long term.
Awesome. I love that. Um, we You mentioned consumption, and in coffee, we know that consumption is growing steadily year by year, and by according to some estimates, by 2050, so 25 years from now, we should be producing twice the amount that we produce today, more or less. Um, but we need to do that considering climate change and the climate crisis challenges, plus all these issues that you highlight about labor needs, but also how we make coffee attractive for the new generations. That's definitely that resonates a lot. And Daniel, I just want, if you want to complement the questions and provide a, let's say, Root Capital's 2 cents on that, yeah, would be great to know more.
Yeah. Well, as we recognize climate change will disproportionately impact agricultural producers who are often the most vulnerable to its effects. So to address this challenge, we believe that investment in sustainable agricultural practices, climate resilience, and competitiveness are crucial for these producers to adapt to the changing climate. The volatility of prices is likely to persist, and we must be prepared to navigate this uncertainty. One way to do this is by diversifying our markets and exploring new opportunities for trade. We see a growing trends towards local consumption in countries of origins, as well as increasing demand for sustainable and high quality products in different continents, not only the traditional. So in that context, associativity will become increasingly important for agricultural producers to overcome the various challenges they face. Our model, Credit Class Capacity, which combines comprehensive due diligence and stakeholder engagement, is well positioned to support this effort. By leveraging technology and maintaining our proximity to the companies and communities we work with, we can add value to our investments and help producers become more competitive, resilient, and adaptable to the changing climate. So in general, proximity will be a critical point in our intervention, in our approach. We already have a strong platform that is working in different countries, strategical countries like Peru, Colombia, Kenya, Honduras, Costa Rica, Mexico. So with these offices and people on the origins countries, we are closer to the needs of the communities. That need to be a strength, yeah, and we can develop more, co-create more together with the farmers, with the enterprises that are connecting these farmers with international markets. No? At the end of the day, is being prepared to be adapted, to adapt us all to the coming future. No, that is only change. Thank you.
Indeed, I love that. As for wrapping up this session, the idea of we need to keep adapting. Yeah, sustainability. We have stressed that a lot in the last few months. That there is no goal in sustainability. It's just a journey to keep improving, to keep being better, to be aware what is the new challenge and how we can create a sustainable coffee sector that is evolving and adapting to this complexity. We're almost at the end of the webinar, but we have a quick question from the audience directed to the SCA related with prices, and a comment that Daniel made about how is the SCA going to support higher prices for farmers so they are able to keep farming and producing. And I will say that our perspective, we have framed this conversation around value. We think that more value, as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, we keep committed to promote equitable value distribution as the key priority for building that thriving and sustainable future for the specialty coffee sector. And value distribution refers to this conversation around prices, but also around other elements that Fabricio mentioned on the work that they do, and also that Daniel highlighted, that are usually not linked to price, but represents value for farmers, like access to education, access to markets, and access to knowledge. So farmers are not only receiving a fair share for the efforts and the risks that they are taking in coffee production, but also that they get access to high quality knowledge and high quality information and market opportunities that allow them to keep building a resilient business. We are committed to that. There is a long pathway ahead on that, but we are fully committed to keep this conversation evolving and providing the insights and bring the conversation that are needed to highlight what really the challenges and opportunities are there to keep innovating in that space. So we are 2 minutes above the time. So thank you again, Fabricio, Daniel, and Ana Claudia for being here. We need to wrap up the session. This is the end. I don't know if you want to say something else. This is the moment. If not, we will let the webinar at this point.
Andres, I really want to thank you and all the SCA, and count on us for other sustainability initiatives. We really want to volunteer our time and our resources, our teams, team members to this initiative. It's we deeply believe on that, and we are totally available. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will let you know for sure. You know that more is coming, and we count on you guys.
I would like
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Very quickly, to thank you for this moment. I think that was very insightful. And on the expo in April in Houston, and who has time? I know that is a busy event, but I will have a lecture talking about carbon footprint and what we have been doing here in Instant Coffee to contribute to reduce the impact that we are suffering at the origin. So just to share that who has time, it would be a pleasure to see you all there. And thank you for today.
Yeah,
indeed.
Thank you, Andres and SCA team. It is being very, very important. So 3 words, very connected: collaboration, partnerships, and togetherness are critical in this moment. So we are happy to collaborate, to be partner with different stakeholders, to be together in this interesting moment. No? So thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your insights. And yeah, Ana Claudia, looking forward to seeing you all in Houston in April. That's all for today. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you.